What is up, guys? Welcome to the most electrifying podcast in all of podcast entertainment. You are listening to the M&S podcast, aka the Four Podcast, and today,
AKA the greatest podcast. That's all. The greatest
TBE
podcast.
ever,
TBE, goat shit only, man. CSO.
champ shit only in this podcast. And I'd like to say, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 10. The 10 milestone is a big deal. It's actually
They didn't want it, man. Oh shit.
Milan just left the cause on, but just talk. But guys, they didn't think
That's how
it could
excited
be done.
I was, bro.
They didn't.
That's how excited I was.
They didn't think that we could make it to 10 episodes, but we made it to 10 episodes.
No,
Technically,
we actually made it to 12. Yeah. We made
This is
it to
technically
12.
12. This is 10 of the MMA show / boxing.
man.
That's a fight show. And I'd like to say, ladies and gentlemen, for the 10th episode, we have a special guest coming on, and he is going to be interviewed at the end of the podcast. It is smiling Sam Alvey,
Oh man.
AK. Unfortunately, we'll talk about how his fight went this weekend, but one of our favorite fighters, we always talk about him. We got him on the podcast for the 10th episode. We've been alluding to a possible someone coming on, and it's smiling Sam Alvey,
I
the
won't lie.
Tennessee beast.
I've
from
had to
California
beep it out
originally.
sometimes, man. I've had to beep it out sometimes, Sean, because we'd get too excited that we'd spill it. We'd spill the beans on the podcast sometimes. I've had to beep it out. But boys, you already know, if you've been an avid listener to this podcast, we've been going on for weeks, okay? Since many podcasts ago, we've been saying number 10, we're having something special. Stay tuned for the end of the podcast. That's when we're going to put in the clip. It's going to be a nice little thing. If you're using YouTube, just use the scroll bar, and when the picture changes to Sam Alvey's beautiful face, well, then you know that's the section that he starts talking in pretty much. But obviously, the first section is just going to be normal, pretty much, our standard MMA / boxing / just roundup podcast, yeah?
Yes, sir. It's gonna be the greatest ever. Well, I don't want to say the greatest podcast, but I'm just gonna say, obviously, this is not really like we haven't made this YouTube channel for the subscribers, as Jake Paul, who we're gonna get into a bit, would say, the clout and like that. This is actually just really, honestly, this is really fun. I'm not gonna lie. If you guys listen to our first podcast, it is fucking tragic. Like,
look, listen, I don't want to say anything, yeah? I don't want to say anything. But we were trashing the first one. Now we're just kind of more accustomed to it because it's like,
we're not even good at this.
Sit.
But we're just chilling at this point. Like, it's not the biggest thing, but like we're more just chilling on it.
It's all learning.
And also we did our first interview ever as a duo with Smile and Sam Alvey, and
Yes,
I think it was okay, to be honest.
It was okay.
It was
For the first one, it was okay, for sure.
You know what? Let's actually talk about it a little bit. Like, not what the insights of it, but guys, I'm gonna tell you something. So it's actually quite funny. We were chilling, yeah, and we had the time set up to go. Okay, we were sitting here. We were in the Zoom call. We were waiting for Sam to join.
No. We weren't just in the Zoom call, Sean. Unfortunately, it won't be in the video. But we had shirts on. We had a tie on each. We were being I even put up on my whiteboard back there, M&S number 10 featuring Sam Alvey, prepared. But yeah, go on, Sean. Just have to set the mood there.
But yeah, we were really excited for it, and I had perfectly lined up that. Okay, so for us in Ireland, it's 5 p.m. and for him over in America, it would be at 12 p.m. and a nice little time, not too late, well, not too early even. I guess you could, if you wanted to have a nice sleep into 11 or something, wake up, come on the podcast type thing. But pretty much, I had it perfectly planned that Hannah, who is my girlfriend, would come over.
That out, my friend.
No, you can leave that in.
We don't have it. Okay,
you can leave that in. That's fine. That's fine.
As long as that person has permission,
cool.
We're good. We're cool.
Yeah, it's cool. She would come over. Like, I'd meet up with her after. Okay, we'd meet up with her. It would take about an hour. Okay, so it would be perfectly timed. So then what happened is Sam still hadn't come in, and it was 6 or whatever it was, and she was here. And then we were just chilling in the Zoom, and we didn't think it was gonna happen. And then he starts texting back, being like, "Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't realize that where I was staying has two time zones." And it's honestly, it's just unfortunate. Like, it's not a big problem. It's just it was an hour difference, but it was just funny how it worked
It
out that
was
we
a
ended up
roller
doing it.
coaster, man. It was so funny because we were debating. You know what? Let's just call it a day. We'll try and do it on Friday. We're already rescheduling. I was already changing back into my fucking t-shirt and hoodie, man. And then as soon as he messages back, they sort it out real quick. We hop on the Zoom. Unfortunately, the camera glitched out, but we got the audio. It's perfect. Uh, Everything turned out perfectly. It could have been a tiny bit easier. Well, not easier, but better for us. But do you know what? I don't think we could have gone a better first
Nah,
episode, like
definitely not.
guest, because he didn't give bland answers. We'd ask him a question. I won't be like, oh yeah, or oh no. He'd give a detailed answer. He'd sound like he's actually like the third co-host of the podcast. You won't even think
He
he's the
was,
guest.
yes, exactly. Sam was interested, and I'll say this again. I'm not sure if you'll be listening, but thanks again to Sam for coming on the
We appreciate
podcast,
it, man. We
being the first
appreciate it.
ever person we've ever interviewed ever, and hopefully the first of many. We'll definitely hopefully get him back on again.
Oh, for
But
sure.
yeah, it was really funny. I'm not gonna lie, the main reason we did yesterday's podcast was because Hannah was just in the background. She goes, "Just do it today. Just do it now." So I was like, "Ah, all right, we'll do it now." We were a
Hannah
bit
is day one MNS podcast listener. She knew what was about to go down. She
so she
wanted
knew
this
it had to
podcast to
happen.
happen,
Yeah,
man. Exactly. I
the
respect
first,
it, man. Shout out to
the
Hannah, man.
first
Shout out to
shout
Hannah.
out, the first ever person to listen to the podcast live, to get a live podcast.
Man,
Actually,
we didn't.
she was saying to me after she was listening to me talk, and she was like, it was so weird because the weirdest part was I had my headphones on, yeah, so she only heard what I was saying.
Mm.
And at
And
one
the,
point, I repeated a question, and she was like, "I'm trying to funny you to repeat yourself and stuff like." And yeah, it's just a funny thing that only she could hear was me. So I was asking a question, and she didn't hear the answer or the response or anything.
Especially since some of the questions we scripted it out, and it's like some questions I'd ask, some questions Sean would ask. So like it's
Yeah.
not like a quick answer, question, answer. It'd be so irregular. Like Sean would ask a question, and then it'd take like maybe 3 or 4 minutes before the next question, and then maybe the next question again is his. So it was quite an irregular time. But listen, not only did we break the live viewer record, which is one night right now. We also got our first guest, and we are on our 10th MMA episode, boys. We appreciate it. All on 4 subscribers as well, man. This
Potentially
podcast,
gonna making an
oh,
Instagram soon as well. Who
Instagram,
knows?
boys.
Who
We
knows?
are
Who knows?
expanding. We are expanding. But hey, listen, let's talk about this week's roundup. I guess what's even about to happen. As you mentioned, Sean, Jake Paul is in the news, and so is Ben Askren. Now, man,
Yes, sir.
I can't wait. I sent you a video yesterday, yeah? How
Man, I
base,
stop.
I sent you a video, man. Tell me why Ben Askren goes from throwing airball, fucking 360 punches, or arm swings, whatever the fuck they're called, I literally forgot, to spinning backhands, yeah? Or spinning back fists, to going 11 minutes on the pads at a solid pace while talking and joking around with the camera crew. Explain to me, please. Tell me how, Sean.
Honestly, guys, if I need you guys to watch this now, I think Milan, will you put it in the description?
Oh, of course, of
If you
course.
if you haven't seen this already, um, oh my god, I could not believe what I was seeing because like Milan sent it to me and it was like Ben Askren or whatever, and I was like, oh okay, it's probably him just doing some shitty pads, like I wasn't expecting very much. I just expected to watch like a minute of it, but like I watched it for like maybe 5, 6, 7 minutes because I was fascinated. The fact that Ben Askren, he looks so clean throwing punches now. Now, like, in all
Honestly.
fairness, his sparring footage has not been the most promising. But, Ben is proven time and time again, except for possibly the Masvidal fight, that he can do it on the big stage. He doesn't, he
Oh,
can do it on the big
honestly.
stage. This man eats pressure like it's his breakfast.
Sean, talking about pressure, I was listening to a clip today on Instagram. Dominic Cruz made an absolute superb point. He said how when wrestling, he's been wrestling since he was a youngin', yeah? Since he was like real young, essentially. Do you know what I mean? He went to D1 scholarships in college. I don't know if it was a scholarship, but he did college wrestling, high school wrestling, Olympic wrestling, Sean. And the thing is in
Yeah,
wrestling is that they take you down to the depths of hell, okay? They don't care. Like, you will be breathing, you will be gasping for air 1 second, and then the next, the ref will stand you up and you're gonna have to go again. That's wrestling. Same, kind of the same with jujitsu a little bit. That's the closest that I've gotten. Me and Sean have gone actually. So like you're expected to have all this like you're gassed, you don't know what to do sometimes, you're in a shitty situation, but you continue. And since Ben has been in that space, he's so used to it. I don't think Jake is at all. I think that that's a beautiful thing said by Dominic Cruz. And Sean, how is Ben Askren still the underdog on many betting sites? Sean, am I setting up a nice bet of the week for you, Sean?
bet of the week.
Oh,
Bet
let's
of the
go.
week. You know what? We're not going to talk about bet of the week until maybe later on the podcast because there's a few more fights we can talk about that are happening this weekend. And maybe in the UFC card, I'll have a look and I'll give you guys my fight of the week. Don't even remember.
Cool, cool,
Don't
cool.
even forget. But Ben Askren. See, I'm actually really excited for this because I think I'll be watching it live and I won't be watching it from home. I'll be out somewhere on my phone probably. But the thing about this fight that really excites me is just Ben's footwork, his hands. It's just gotten so much better. Now we
Facts.
don't know. We don't know what he's like fighting backwards. That's something. We don't know what he's like going backwards. But
True.
like realistically, he's good. He's good. He'll be okay because he's. I hope anyway. Okay, I'm hopefully anyway. But like Jake has shown he can fight going backwards, going forwards. He can fight in any direction. He drops his hands a little bit here and there. So I think it'll be a very interesting fight, to be honest, because like obviously Ben's been in the game for so long. Jake has been, devoting his life to boxing essentially. Um,
Pretty much.
and like, I actually, I find this fight very hard to predict. But,
No, I have Ben Askren. I don't care.
people, yeah, you've
Jake,
got Ben Askren, exactly. Like, some people have Ben, some people have Jake. And then there's people like me who are kind of in between. Like I can see Jake Paul winning, you know what I mean? But I can see Ben Askren winning.
I
It's
w-
hard to, yeah.
I was in that same situation as you, Sean. I won't lie. Last week, if you asked me who's gonna win, I'd say I don't know, because the thing is, I saw Jake Paul because I was believing the hype. People are saying, oh, his confidence. But the thing people are forgetting, he's a social media star. His life is basically professional lie. He's a professional liar, essentially. That's what a social media star is. So lying to him is second nature. Ben Askren is an actual fighter. I think he's said in an interview as well. I've been watching a lot of more Ben Askren media recently, but he's basically said it was actually on the Logan Paul podcast. I watched a good bit of it. He said how in his whole entire career, sparring and fighting, he's never been rocked or knocked out apart from that Ben Askren thing. And if I don't think we can compare Ben Askren's knee, full sprinting knee, to Ben's head going straight down for a takedown. He's basically pushing his head on that knee, to Jake Paul's fucking punching power. I don't think we could do that. The closest thing to that knee is Ngannou, and I don't think Jake Paul is an Ngannou. So to me, decision, knockout, I don't care. Ben Askren there's no way Jake Paul wins this fight. No way whatsoever. I'm telling you now. Unless fucking Askren goes for a takedown and ground and pounds him. No other way.
Oh man, see, no, I do see what you're talking about there when you're like, the hardest his chin's been tested was against a flying, sprinting knee, which like anyone,
Mm.
Francis Ngannou himself would have got knocked out by that. Tyson Fury would have gone down and he would have tried to do the Undertaker, but his eyes would have fallen out of his head probably. But like, man. the thing I see with this fight that I just cannot stop forgetting is I was deeply invested in Jake Paul versus Deji, Jake Paul versus Nissan Gibb, Jake Paul versus Nate Robinson, and now Jake Paul versus Ben Askren. In the Deji fight, I said Deji was going to do it. I didn't believe in Jake Paul. Jake Paul came out and dominated him. Then in the next fight, he was fighting Anisong Gibb. I'm not even kidding you. I told everyone, Anisong Gibb's gonna come out, he's gonna be calm, he's gonna weather this kind of storm, and about second and third round, he's gonna put him away. He got finished in the side of the first round.
Oh,
Nate
stop, man.
Robinson. I'm not even kidding you. I was thinking, yeah, Jake's gonna win. Jake's gonna win. This guy's a basketballer. But then, week of the fight. In my head, I'm thinking, Jake Paul, oh, he's not an athlete the way this guy's an athlete. You know, no one's an athlete. This guy, Nate Robinson, under 6 foot tall and won a slam dunk competition. This guy's an athlete. So I was like, I was in my head, I was like, it's really hard for me to say. But I was genuinely thinking, Nate Robinson's going to win this. I don't know how, but I think he's going to win just because of his athletic background. Jake Paul comes through, beats him. Every time Jake Paul has fought, I've doubted him. And honestly, I think it's time to stop doubting Jake Paul and put him seriously because there's these 3 years, he's had three series, he's had three not amazing opponents, but every time I've doubted him, he's come out and he's shown me that, he can do it. So I think that why would this be any different? But at the same time, it could be different because it's a different opponent in a completely different situation. So it's a very hard one for me. That's why it's very hard for me to predict
Well, Sean, I want to say real quick, Deji, even though,
the
yeah,
GOAT.
it was the 31st of August, 2018, or the 25th of August, excuse me, 2018. There's a 3 year difference here, or two and a half if you want to be technical. Deji put in 5 rounds against, although he did get finished, the towel was thrown in. Jake Paul with headgear was put on 5 rounds by Deji, out of all people, and his nose was bloodied. Now, you could definitely say, oh, but he's gotten better, yeah? But Ben Askren is a different caliber of fighting. I don't think if he was breathing heavily there, John. I mean, he was looking sloppy. He still did get the finish, though. Respect to that. Respect to him with that. But his nose was busted up. How do we not know that his nose isn't going to be busted again? How do we know that, like, I don't know, he won't get rocked or anything? Because the thing is, Jake is being a bit of a secretive person, let's just say, with his sparring because he sparred Sergio Pettis, I believe. If I'm not mistaken, actually, let me just search that up
I,
real quick.
I don't think it was Sergio. I think it was someone. It was someone else. I think
Uh, Jake, my apologies, Sergio, if I'm wrong. Let me just get this real quick.
it may have
Um,
been, but I'm pretty sure it wasn't. It's on MMA Island. Shout out. It
Shout out to
was.
MMA Island.
It was Anthony Pretty Boy Taylor.
Yeah, they sparred together. They said no cameras, no recordings. But guess what, Sean? I came home today and I caught the last like 10 minutes of the last press conference they did. And Jake was talking, Jake was putting smoke up in the air because he was saying, yo, you could check the recordings. They did record it, first of all. They did record it. That's the first slide they made. Secondly, he goes, well, Taylor said that I was better than I was. He thought he was. I landed some big shots. He landed some big shots. I landed some big shots. And then Jake goes, no, you're lying. Because if you look at the recording, I won. It doesn't matter. I was better than you. Sean, do you think realistically Jake Paul is whooping this guy's ass in sparring?
I don't know. It's hard
Answer's fuck no.
because
I
because
listen, I'm sorry for cutting you off, yeah, but I'm gonna be 100% straight with you right now, yeah. I am going to be on the Ben Askren train. If it crashes, I guess I'm gonna go with it because I'm gonna have to eat my words on Saturday or on Sunday even. But I'm backing Ben Askren. It just makes too much sense that Ben Askren wins, man. It makes too much sense. There's no way, unless again, like I said, Ben Askren goes for a double leg takedown. There's no other way Jake Paul wins this fight. No way. That's my prediction. Ben Askren by decision or by KO finish. I don't care. He wins it.
Disqualification.
Man, that'd be so annoying. Imagine if it was a draw. They set up a Jake Paul Ben Askren part 2.
You know what though? The thing that I kind of have a problem with is Anthony Taylor. I kind of looked him up just there now. He fights at okay. He said his weight here is 149. So instantly, what this makes me think, he's 5'7". What this makes me think instantly is Jake Paul has fought someone who's not really a striker, much smaller than him, and he's trying to prove a point. This guy has 1 KO in his 7 victories, 1 submission, and 5 decisions. He's only been knocked out once, but he's not really fighting a boxer. You know what I mean? Like, if he was to say he fought someone like, okay, for some reason the only person I can think of is Terence Crawford, but you know what I mean? A boxer.
Yeah, I get you, man. I get you.
If he was to fight a boxer, I'd be like, oh shit, and like he's got a good record, fair play, man. But the fact that he's fighting like, no, I don't want to say a bum because he is not a bum. He's a decent little fighter, but
yeah,
he's not exactly what we would call a great boxer. He's a good fighter, not a great boxer. Same, but that's how it works with like with what's his name, like Ben Askren. He's not a great boxer. He's a great fighter.
yeah.
That's how you perceive him. But it's gonna be interesting, man. That's all I can say. Like, it's hard for me to predict or say how I think it's gonna go. But if I was to make a bet, I would say early bet Jake Paul, late Ben Askren. That's how I'd predict
I
it.
see you.
That's how I would predict it. But I could easily see Ben Askren fucking knocking this guy out early because he's learned proper punching technique.
Yeah.
And once you have technique, you just hit someone clean on the chin, you put lights out,
Yeah, man, I get you. But
So it's
there's
interesting.
Frank Mir's fighting on this card actually.
I was about to say,
Yeah, if
Frank Mir
is fighting. It's gonna be nice to see him again.
Hopefully he has no horseshoe up his ass though.
Ho-
That's a big thing.
It'd be
That's a
nice
big
to see
thing.
him fight when there is no horseshoe up this guy's fucking ass, man.
Imagine
Honestly.
Frank Mir versus Brock Lesnar in a boxing match.
Brock Lesnar. I don't know actually. Because hasn't he finished that WWE shit? Like, is he not part of it anymore?
I'm actually not entirely sure, but all I know is Frank Mir versus but Brock Lesnar in a boxing
Frank
match
Mir
would be a hell of a
versus the
fight.
winner of Jake Paul and Ben Askren. Make it happen.
Nah, Alistair Overeem versus
Uberim,
Jake Paul.
oi. Maybe we could get our GOAT matchup actually. Dylan Danis versus Mir. If you know, you know. If you know, you know. But I'm pretty sure there's another fight on that card that I am well aware of versus Ben Askren. That I'm really... wait, I just need to see the card. I think his name is Redback. But he's a Ukrainian fighter.
There's
if I'm not
another
mistaken.
YouTuber. It's Harry Josie, I think, is on it. He was on something. He's another guy fighting on it. An interesting little thing, though.
Yeah,
It's a very interesting. It's a weird, interesting card. And guys, if you have not already been sold on this card, may I just tell you that Doja Cat and Justin Bieber will be in attendance.
Man,
With Dixie and Charlie D'Amelio on commentary.
If you're not going to the fights, at least come for them, man. Come for them. Like, come on, don't be a schmuck about it. Come for them, bro. But, to be honest, I think that's enough for this card, Sean, because guess what? Same day, Whitaker's fighting. Whitaker versus Kelvin Gastelum. What are we saying, man?
Whitaker, Kelvin Gastelum. I'm gonna go out here on a limb. I'm just gonna drop it like it's hot, as Snoop Dogg, aka the Thriller owner, would say. It's gonna happen one way, and that's gonna be Robert Whitaker is gonna get this done. I'm gonna think he's gonna finish him in the fourth or fifth.
Okay.
Because Robert Whitaker is a smooth fighter. So is Kelvin. But I think Robert's gonna take this one. The
Okay, I
way he
see you, man.
dispatched
I
Jared
see you.
Cannonier and Darren Till, I think Kelvin Gastelum he won't have a problem with. Even though
I
Kelvin's
think.
got those speedy Mexican hands, the hands that
Oh
knocks
man,
out Bisping, I think I still think it's gonna go the way we think it's gonna go.
Calvin Gastelum. I see. The thing is with Calvin is that uh, he's actually active this year as well. Remember, I think I might have watched it by myself. The
Ian
hindsight, or maybe we
Heinzich.
watched it
Yeah, we
together.
talked
I'm
about it on the
not quite sure.
podcast.
Yeah, but he's active this year. I think he's trying to get that title run again, and it's definitely no doubt about it. Whoever wins this is gonna go for the championship fight against Izzy. But Sean, as I said to you, I did kind of forget we're doing the podcast in like 30 minutes after I sent the message. But I sent to you that I think Gastelum is going to. Wait, I even forgot what I said. I think I said Robert Whitaker is only gonna beat him if they get to decision, but Kevin Gastelum might finish him. Is that what I said? I'm pretty sure that's what I said.
Yeah, yeah,
I
that's what you
said
said. You said
Kelvin
Calvin
is only winning
Gastelum.
if
Yeah,
it's a finish. Robert is only winning uh, if it's a decision. But the thing is, because Calvin, we watched his fight with Ian Heinesic, and the thing is, he even in his Darren Till fight, he was on the clinch constantly, and his wrestling was perfect. So if he feels like he doesn't want to strike with, obviously he won't want to fucking strike with Robert Whitaker for 5 straight rounds. He's gonna put on the wrestling a little bit. He's gonna put the pressure onto Robert. Now I think Robert might defend the takedowns or might just rest or while he's on the bottom, maybe Calvin's trying to inside control or something. They're just basically rolling essentially. But I think Calvin is gonna basically uh, take this fight pretty calmly. To be quite honest with you, I think he's gonna, again, as I said, it's either gonna be a Calvin finish because I think he still has dynamite in those hands, and the fact that he hit Izzy with so many nasty shots, he made his lips look like balloons, bro. And I think if he hits Robert with one of those, he might fucking die. Well, not die, but like get finished. So that's my prediction there, man. I won't lie. That's my prediction right there, bro. One thing I actually saw real quick. Calvin Gastelum is only 29.
what?
Calvin
Actually,
Gastelum is 29.
Gastelum
Robert is
and
30.
Whitaker, they're both younger than Izzy.
They're both in their primes. They might not even be in their primes. Primes is like 31, I'd say. 30, 31. Calvin is 29 years old. That's crazy. That's crazy talk.
There's other fights on this card. Actually, the
Yeah.
co-main event, Mister hits people and they don't fucking move, aka who the fuck is that guy? Jeremy Stevens taking on Drakkar Close, coming off a very, he's on a bit of a skid right now, Jeremy Stevens, but he's
Nice to
coming
see
back
him back
after
though.
an 18-month layoff. He had some stuff going on with his mother, I heard in an interview. He was talking, he said, she was having some troubles with addiction, and, the first time she contacted him in a few years, um, was the night of the Calvin Kattar fight, which obviously would throw anybody off their fight. He wasn't using that as an excuse though, but
Mm.
obviously he took time off. He's quit drinking now, and yeah, I listened to the his pre-fight interview, as probably you can tell, but yeah, it's a really sad situation he has with his mum. Um, if you guys want to know more about it, I would say check out the interview he did in his pre-fight press conference kind of thing. But yeah, uh, Jeremy Stevens coming back. He says that he believes that he has evolved. He's getting better. He's at 155. He's gone up a weight class, not cutting weight anymore. So, you know, for me, I'm very interested in this one, and I hope Jeremy Stevens gets the job done. He's facing Drakkar Close. a very good opponent. But yeah, do you have any opinions on this, Milan?
Sean, I think Jeremy Stevens, coming back with a clearer mind. Do you know what I mean? I think he's gonna get this done. To be honest with you, I think he's been in a hard place. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I think this is just gonna bring on. This is gonna be more wood to the fire. I think he is going to. He came back from a horrible place, and there's no way but up. I believe. So I think Jeremy Stevens is gonna have that nice 29-18 record after this. Unfortunately for Drakkar, I think, to be honest, I think Jeremy finishes Drakkar. I think it'd be. This is definitely not a sleeper, boys. Watch this fight. This is gonna be an interesting fight to watch.
Actually, Drakkar coming off a loss from March 2020 against Tony Ferguson's next opponent, Benil Darush.
Mm,
Um, but prior to that, he was on a three-fight win streak, um, all decisions. But this guy is not known for his knockouts or his no submission victories. So it'll be a very interesting one, to be honest. Like I'd be very interested to see how this one goes down.
for
But
sure, man.
I'll be honest, I'd be supporting Jeremy Stevens for this one. After I've heard sort of how he's dealt with his mother and all that just over the last 18 months. So I respect the guy a lot and I hope he can get the job done. Uh, that being said, if Drakkar Close gets it done, I won't be too upset. But yeah, I'll be very interested to see how this fight goes. Um, any final prediction for us, Milan?
Well, just like I said, I think Jeremy Stevens gets this done. Do you know
Jeremy
what?
Stevens,
I'll be a bit.
how though?
He finishes him with his patented right hand stone fist, man. That's what I'm gonna call it. The stone fist, patented right hand to the jaw, freezes Drakkar. Because wait, Sean, what happens to people when he hits them?
They don't fucking move.
Well, there you go. You've answered my question.
There's somebody else who, when he gets hit, he doesn't move. Andrei Arlovsky is also fighting on this card. Andrei Arlovsky with the cleanest record in the game, 30
Oh,
and 20. Why does he fight again?
he's giving Jeremy
Why
Stevens' record a run for his money.
why would he fight again though? Because he has a clean 30 and 20. And I think he just won his last fight as well. So
I think he's
why
going
would
for that
he?
draw, Sean. I think he wants to be a drawing fighter, maybe.
Oh, he wants. Imagine he gets his last 10 fights are all draws.
He gets that. He gets that double, triple, or fuck. Wait, I completely forgot what it's called. Wait, a double, triple double. That's what it is. He's gonna get a triple double, a basketball, fucking score as a record in MMA. But I don't
I
think
want.
I'm completely against Andrei Arlovsky having 10 more fights. I think if he loses this next one, and if he decides to fight one more, I think just give him 2 fights. Please, for the love of God, don't let this man fight anymore. I don't want CT fucking going in this guy. He is getting finished way too much. Although his last fight,
He got submitted in his last fight.
it
I
was a
just saw
submission, but
Tom Aspinall.
I don't think I don't want him standing and banging anymore, because fighting against younger guys, they're gonna be more agile, quicker. They're gonna pack power as well. I don't want Andre getting fucking knocked out anymore, man. I'm gonna be real. I think it's gonna be
Yeah,
the
man.
same Overeem
CTE
situation here.
Central for this guy.
It's gonna be Overeem situation all over again. I think, where
Yeah.
if he loses this fight, they might just forcefully cut him, and then if Andre is really needs to fight, which I don't know his financial situation. I'm not in his pockets, but if he needs to fight, he might have to go to a different promotion, like Bellator or something. I think Bellator would like to have him. To be honest with you,
100%. 100%.
they would love to have him. Uh,
I
However,
was gonna say,
I wouldn't want him to
just sorry,
continue, man.
sorry to cut across you on that
It's
one.
fine, brother. It's fine.
Um, but honestly, the rest of that main card, Andrei Arlovsky, when Andrei Arlovsky and Jeremy, okay, no disrespect to Jeremy Stevens, but Jeremy Stevens is the co-main event of this card. I don't want to discount the card, but it's not the most jam-packed card with talent, anyways.
Yeah,
Um, especially because you see Jeremy Stevens, he's currently on a sorry, I want to say he's on. Oh my goodness, he's on a five fights without a win.
Well, Sean,
Um, and one of them is a no contest because of an act of the eye poke. But then he got that fight back and he fought Yari Rodriguez and he lost. But I want to say though there is one fight, another fight on this I'm actually very interested in seeing is a guy called let me just read it again properly. Alexander Romanov, the Moldovan beast, man. 30 years of age, 13-0. He's had two fights in the UFC, two submission victories. If you even look at his share dog Milan, this guy holds a belt, you know, and if you hold a belt, you're the
it's
champ.
proper,
That's all
man.
I'm gonna say.
That's proper, man. I respect that a lot.
His
Yeah.
nickname is King Kong. Alexander Romanov King, aka King Kong. Um, I'll be very
Sean, I
interested to
just
see
wanna,
this one.
sorry, my friend, but I just wanna tell you real quick. Although, uh, as you just said, this fight isn't an insane thing, but I just wanna say to back that up, the which fight is it? The third fight, the fourth fight on the main card has a fighter who is 4-1, five professional fights. Like when you got people in the prelims who like Alexander Romanov, that'd be a very interesting fight to put in because both are have very good records by the look of it. Anthony Burchak versus Tony Gravely, both established records, but you're putting someone in who's 4-1. I won't lie though, I haven't heard of Jacob Malcoon, I don't know, but uh, I haven't heard of him. He might be a fucking bot. By the looks of his share dog, he's a scary man, Sean, because he has the
You know,
fattest medal I've ever seen in my life.
actually, the fight I was talking about there, um, Alexander Romanov, and he's fighting a guy called Espino. He's a Spanish fighter. He's 40 years of age, um, and he has seven of his 10 victories coming by way of submission. And Alexander, as I've said, has hold on, let me get it for you now, has eight submissions of his victories. So this looks like a little grappling exchange, possibly, or maybe these two guys are going to stand and bang with it. Um, Romanov, as you can see from his record, has a few knockout victories, um, and well, the one loss Juan Espino has is via knockout. So it's a possibility. When a big Moldovan man's coming at you, I think if anyone can speak for that, Milan, it's yourself.
What?
When it comes
The
to
Romanov fight?
Moldovans, when it
But
comes to
man, you're a fucking
Big
schmuck, man.
Moldovans fighting you, you know what I
You're a
mean?
schmuck, man. You're a schmuck. We all
What is that?
know the greatest country of all time, Sean. I don't even have to say it. The people all know, man. The people all know. I won't confirm it nor deny it. But Sean, sorry if I didn't seem like I was paying attention. I'm looking at this thing here. I just got caught up in a little share dog rabbit hole. I just want to mention real quick. Nico Price's loss, I think was it a loss to Cowboy Cerrone, right?
No, it was a draw.
It was a draw. It was overturned. Oh, wait, it was, yeah, because of the drug thing. Okay, I thought it was a loss or something. Donald Cerrone is fighting Diego Sanchez the 8th of May.
Yeah, that's gonna be a good one. Two
That's
sluggers,
the
two
first,
sluggers, 100%.
the actual first I Quit match. Oh, this is a nasty card. I don't know why they're not showing this on Google, but what a fucking card.
Who's on it?
Corey Sandhagen versus TJ Dillashaw. They're main
Oh, it's
eventing.
that one.
Listen. Neil Magny versus Geoff Neal. Donald Cerrone versus Diego Sanchez. Amanda Ribas versus Angela Hill. And let's not forget, my boy Gregor Gillespie is fighting versus Diego
Ooh,
Ferreira here. This card, even if it is just a fight night, has some absolute sleepers. Oh my goodness.
Milan, I'm gonna have to interrupt you really quickly. I'm gonna ask
Go
you
for
if
it,
you
go
would
for
like
it.
to. Maybe you could keep talking about that. I'll be back in literally a minute. I have to go to the bathroom very badly.
Okay, Superman, it's cool, it's cool, it's
Talk to you in a
cool.
minute.
Alright, brother. But listen, guys, I think this the thing is with this card, yeah, is that it's not going to be jam packed, and the reason for that is that they've pushed in. This is the week before 261. Let's not forget 3 title fights, baby. Kamaru Usman versus Jorge Masvidal, Weili Zhang versus Rose Namajunas, and Valentina Shevchenko versus Jessica Andrade. Okay, Uriah Hall versus Chris Weidman, Anthony Smith versus Jimmy Crute. Uh, listen, we'll talk about that next week. Obviously, we'll make our predictions. But I'm just saying, this fight, this card definitely is a nice one to see, though. It's a very nice one to see. Another fight that I'm interested to see in this card as well is Luis Pena, actually, or Pena. Basically, he got fucked. He's one of the fighters, I believe, that got fucked by the glass shard. If my memory serves me right, let me just search this up real quick. Luis Pena incident. If not, I'm not quite sure, but oh no, excuse me, boys. It was Michael Chiesa. I don't know why, but basically, he lost his last fight, and the thing is, people were saying, he's gonna be kind of like a up and coming fighter in the UFC. Lost his last fight, so Violent Bob Ross, I think he has a point to prove against Alex Munoz, who, by looking at his record right now, is also 0-1.
Sorry,
So
Milan, I'm back now. Sorry to
it's cool,
interrupt
man.
you
I'm
there.
just finishing one last thing. So he's 0-1 right now. So it's a nice comeback fight for both fighters, especially on a main card. Definitely an important fight for both of them to put their name on the map and potentially in their next fight for a chance to get the top 15. But
Who's that now?
Luis Pena versus Alex Munoz. I'm just talking about, just finishing off about that. But
Okay.
you're gonna have to listen to that podcast later, Sean.
I'm gonna have to get a preview maybe. Actually, Milan, I'm gonna have to apologize to you because there's a small gap. I had to pause my recording because I had it on my phone and I could not film myself peeing. So
Well,
I
you could have
don't
just not brought
think
your phone, but whatever.
not because I have my earphone in, so it
Oh,
would have
okay.
picked it up even if I left it outside the bathroom.
Oh, no problem, my friend.
So I
But
don't think the people at home want to hear the droplets of piss hitting
no,
the
I don't
toilet.
think they would like that. But listen, listen. Next thing that we have to talk about. Do you know what? I think we are so backwards in this thing because
We
we
are
just
indeed.
we just completely skipped out. Vittori versus
Let's,
Holland.
I'm gonna be honest. I don't want to talk about it.
Let's just
Vittori versus
briefly
Holland.
go after it.
I don't want to talk about Vittori or Kevin Holland because I don't want to. The fight, I just don't care about. Okay, there is a few. Mike Perry brutally just disappointed me enough
Ah,
in the
stop, man,
card.
stop.
Jim Miller lost as well. Honestly, nothing I really want. Like Scott Holtzman lost as well. Like not a lot that I wanted to see
Sadiq
happen
Youssef, I said
happened.
Arnold Allen would win. Bitch, fuck you.
Yeah, but we both said first round KO, and it was a decision victory. Sadiq Youssef though was doing the chicken dance though.
That's true. That's true.
You know what? This fight though was a potential fight of the night, but the fight of the night went to one fight in particular, Mina,
Yes,
and that
sir.
was Smiling Sam Alvey in the red corner versus some guy called Julian Marquez in
The
the blue
fuck is that,
corner.
man? I don't even know what that is.
I've never even heard of him. What even is this guy?
Listen,
He's got this second best beard in the fight as well. You know,
second best entrance music as well. He had a bit of Miley
but
Cyrus, but obviously Sam
on
Abbey had to
oh,
come in with that T Swift. Okay, nobody's beating that, my
unfortunately
friend.
though, he was better on the night though when he got the submission victory.
Well, no, Sean. First of all, I'd like to say Sam Alvey hurt this man. If there was a possibility, yeah, to use an extension, an Uno card plus 30 seconds would have been over for Sam Alvey, first round knockout. One thing I want to say, yeah, Julian Marquez, although you are an up and coming fighter, please, he's a marketing genius because he's getting his name out by mentioning Miley Cyrus and the NFL players. Don't get on the mic. You're a bit cringy, to be quite honest with you. But you do your thing, man. I ain't trying to stop you. I'm just trying to tell you, bro. It's a bit cringy. But Sam Alvey, we talked to him about that again. Wait until the end of the podcast to watch that interview. But it was a fight of the night. I believe it was 100% deserved because they came out.
Cracking
There's an
fight.
intro. Every single Sam Alvey fight that he is in, every single Sam Alvey fight, it's always a banger. You don't expect a boring fight because even if Sam Alvey is getting backed up in the cage, he's gonna throw some fucking haymakers, and so he's gonna force his opponent to throw some as well. And I think, obviously, he did get caught by a punch. He said he didn't see. He didn't want to counter. Listen, Joe, I'll leave that for the interview. But
We'll leave it indeed. But
that was
yeah.
Nina Nunes showing that there could only be one fighter that could be champ in the relationship, and that's Amanda Nunes. Nina Nunes got armbarred in one round against Mackenzie Dern. So Mackenzie Dern, congratulations, you are the women's strawweight mom championship of the UFC,
Fair
of
play.
the world even. Congratulations. We wish you and your child the best of luck in your tag team career.
Fuck them kids.
Fuck them kids, but listen, you know what?
Let's segue
transition
straight into it.
the next thing.
Fuck them kids.
Talk about it.
Fuck them kids. I'd like to donate 500 grand to absolutely fucking nobody. To someone champion what the fuck he wants.
Conor McGregor, man, the absolute fucking schmuck, has stirred up some controversy this week. Basically, Poirier tweeted out, interestingly enough, how no 500k donation was made. And then Conor was like, well, you didn't show me the results or the receipts. But then Poirier said, oh, well, we tried to contact with your team, but you didn't come up to us. And then obviously Conor went back in the time machine, went back to featherweight Conor, but fucking
Featherweight
Conor again, featherweight Conor, and then got him to go on Twitter and start calling him a fucking hillbilly and all. Basically, he threatened to call off the fight, so it was such a funny situation because if he actually had the power to call this fight off, Poirier would have wasted a title shot, a donation to his charity, a large donation, 5 times more than Khabib would have has donated, but Khabib has donated a lot more now than Conor, as we know now, and a payday for him, another payday, a third payday for himself.
Red Panty Night.
His third Red Panty Night. He is the Red Panty Night champion. And essentially,
Well, only his second, really, because the first one wasn't really a Red Panty Night. Conor was.
It was getting there. It was getting there. We could call it a 2.5, which is still the record. Nobody has had a trilogy with Conor, even though people are saying trilogy Conor is unbeatable, which I don't fucking understand. It's a weird one. But
Nah, he had a trilogy against himself, man.
Sean, I won't lie, I still see it the same way. I don't want to be a dickhead, but I saw Conor on the heavy bag. I think you might have seen the footage as well. Conor is bouncing lightly on his feet now. You know, he's on his toes more, karate stance. But to be honest, I just get the feeling again. I don't think we're going to see the same Conor again, Sean. I hate to say it, but I think those days are done. I hate to say it. I really, again, this is another, I think and I want Conor to win. I want to see him fight again properly, prime Conor, you know, because I missed that chunk of his career. You know, I came on during the, after his Eddie Alvarez fight. That's when I started really, like, noticing him. And I think the first fight that I witnessed was the McGregor-Mayweather fight live, but that doesn't really count. But that I want to see a McGregor prime win. But I think Poirier's getting this dub again.
I'm gonna tell you something, Milan.
Yeah.
I'm gonna talk to you. I'm gonna talk to you 2 ways. Firstly, I'm gonna talk to you as a guy from Dublin, Ireland, who loves Conor McGregor and is Irish. Let's just get it how it is, man.
Yeah.
Conor McGregor's gonna go out there. If he stands up, man, if he has his chest high, his head up, not down, he's got the karate stance Conor. If he has cornrows as well, nah, he won't. But man, I'm not gonna lie to you. Conor, I'm seeing that. Mystic Mac here It's gonna kick him straight down the front inside the first 10
That's
seconds
the
and knock him
prediction he made,
unconscious.
didn't he? He said fourth round,
He
number
said
four.
fourth round.
Watch that. Fourth round, crane kick straight to the jaw. No, Connor, are you out of your fucking
But
mind?
man, honestly, Conor McGregor, I want this guy to win so badly. And it's not even, oh, I know I'm gonna come off as the biggest Conor fanboy ever. But like, as someone who has been with Conor McGregor for his whole career, watching him ever since he came into the UFC, I knew about him. I was at I was at a watch party type thing when he's fought his first fight in Sweden. Man, this guy was, the SBG gym is just something else. Knowing about it, knowing as much about Conor as I would know about Conor, hearing as much as him, honestly, I have I have lost and gained and regained and lost respect for Connor so much. He loses it and gains it very easily for me, which probably shouldn't be the best thing. Because with everybody else in my life, it's not very easy to gain my respect, but to lose it, it's very easy. Um, but I can't help but give Connor that little bit of leeway, you know? Um, I want to see him win. I want to see Connor go out there. I want to see him put on a show. I want to see him put that left hand on him and just outclass him. But to be honest, and I hate to say this to myself, I think that Connor could easily get finished again. Because what I hated about the first fight was he looked mortal. Conor McGregor inside the octagon looks immortal sometimes. Like nothing could kill him. But he looked like he could die in that ring. He looked like he could really get hurt. And I've seen that obviously in the Diaz fights, him get finished and stuff, but he was choked out, you know? He wasn't hit in the head and knocked unconscious. It's different.
Oh
Um,
my God, Sean, I have some breaking news. My jaw
breaking
dropped.
news.
My jaw has dropped. I'm just looking at the card, the Sandhagen Dillashaw card. Sean, guess who is fighting, man? Our
Artem
boy,
Lobov.
JP Baez, is on this card as well. He's
No
fighting
way.
a man called Francisco Figueiredo, who is 12-3, who is... I just want you to look at his picture, man. Just look at
Francisco who?
Francisco Figueiredo. Look at his picture, please.
Is he, I think is he Figueiredo's brother?
I,
That's Figueiredo's brother.
is that actually... He's part of the Figueiredo team. Yep. I think he is. He's his brother.
Did you, did you hear who pulled out of there's a guy, oh my god, give me a second. You know what, that leads to me to drop some other news. I don't know if you've heard about this, Milan. Um,
He's the brother. He's the brother. He is his brother. 31.
but do you know why JP buys obviously with the quick turnaround, but hold up one second. This fight is actually new. This is JP Buys only got thrown into that fight because not JP was Figueredo was meant to fight a guy called Jimmy Flick.
Yeah.
And Jimmy Flick, uh, retired at the age of 30 years old. Even though he had this fight booked, he retired the other week because he found that he felt he was fighting for all the wrong reasons.
Mm.
He was fighting because he wanted his dad in his corner and stuff, and then he stopped having his dad in his corner because he had the professionals in his corner, and then he started losing contact with his family, and he retired from MMA, and he was meant to be fighting Figueredo, who, by the way, if Jimmy Flick had won that fight, he could have been next in line because like beating his brother is just it's a little storyline right there in itself.
Facts.
But yeah, Jimmy Flick, I would recommend you guys go on to ESPN MMA on YouTube and listen to Ariel Helwani's interview with them. It's really, really interesting. I was listening to it this morning when I should have been doing King Lear study. But
Man,
man,
we smashed it though. We smashed it out the park with that essay, man.
honestly, it was very upsetting when I heard it. But
Good luck
you
on your
know,
situation though,
it is
man.
what it
Good luck
is.
on the rest of your situation. Hopefully your relationship gets better. Maybe you find
Yeah,
another way because you're in the UFC. Hopefully you find a way to somehow incorporate your father. Maybe not in the coach's corner, but maybe in the front row or something. I don't know. Maybe get Dana to hook him up.
But
I
no,
don't.
no, no. See, that's something that was the problem. It's the best way to say it is you know, good luck to him in his future endeavors because I don't think he wants to get back in the octagon ever again. So whatever he decides to do, I hope the UFC helps him out a little bit because he's got a very unique situation. It's very hard for me to describe it, but you'd really have to watch the video to understand what's going on with him.
Mm,
But yeah, unfortunate for him and good luck. But we jumped away from Connor and
true, true,
Dustin, but
true.
I want to say my final opinions on it is I think that it's gonna end inside the first 3 rounds. I don't know who's gonna win though. That's kind of how I'm sitting at it because Conor McGregor he had Dustin wobbled at one point. He had him hurt. But then the leg kick spilled up, and that's ultimately what did it for him. Dustin's game plan was just impeccable on the night. But John Kavanagh
Facts.
in rematches, he uh he tends to have a good game plan, and Conor just tends to come out a bit more hungry. So it'll be a very interesting one.
For
And
sure, man. For sure.
I think the only thing left we have to talk about
Well, Sean,
is
actually, I just wanted to
Oscar,
say
isn't
real
it?
quick.
Oh, sorry,
Mention
my bad.
there were during the little period of time where Dustin Poirier and the Conor fight was kind of a little bit dusty. You know what I mean? It was a little bit in the air. Nobody knew if it was happening. Kevin Lee's name came up, and brother, imagine people were saying this is where Kevin Lee fits, but he's having talks with someone else for July 10th, which would be interesting again to see him in the fight, same fight card. But what else do we have? We have a couple more rumors. Well, not rumors, but a couple more things to talk about. We
De La
have
Hoya.
De La Hoya boxing in talks with Woodley and Eddie for a boxing comeback, especially. I don't know if this is going to be an exhibition or a professional fight, but either way, it's a bag for both parties that are going to be.
I hope Tyrone Woodley gets this fight over. Actually, I like Eddie Alvarez a lot, but I think
Woodley needs this
Tyrone
more.
Wood,
Woodley needs this more.
yeah, Woodley definitely needs that more because you know Eddie's gonna go back to one championship and get a title shot. You know, but Woodley is he was on his last fight at the UFC.
I
He's
think
definitely not gonna get a new
I think
contract. I think
Eddie needs to work on trying to resolve his last loss and get it overturned into a no contest. I think that's what he should start working on instead
yeah.
of talking about fucking not wrestling, boxing, fucking De La Hoya, man.
No, to be fair to him, it's a huge opportunity. It's a huge chance to get a bag. Oscar De La Hoya would be a great fight. And honestly, Eddie or Tyrone Woodley would be much more active than Oscar De La Hoya. Obviously, they wouldn't be as skilled in boxing, but they know how to land a punch.
True.
So
They're fighters. They're
it'd be
fighters.
it'd be very, very interesting.
And then
Um,
basically, what else is next?
another another boxer who
Clarissa
thinks they're the
Shields,
shit.
the absolute baller. We talked about her before, actually, haven't we, Sean?
We have indeed, and we talked about her going to MMA in PFL, but now she has been booked to fight officially. We were talking about it the other day, I think.
Yep, she is booked for June 10th. Unfortunately, she said I want to be booked on the same card as Connor because I want to overtake him in buys. But unfortunately, the PFL staff misheard July as June, so they basically said June 10th. Who is her opponent again, Sean? Because I think I asked you the same question yesterday. But who is her opponent? And do you mind reading out her record?
Oh man, it is a poor one. I'm going to go into my search history
I
for it.
believe from memory
Um,
it's fine. But 3-6, I believe,
record.
right? 3-6. They're giving her a nice starting fight. Now, by all means, I don't think she's gonna come in and go crazy. It's gonna be interesting to see how a pure boxer does wrestling wise, grappling wise, clinch wise, kick wise. Do you know what I mean? It's always interesting, especially since it's not only
Brittany Elkin.
Brittany
Brittany
Elkin.
Elkin with a record of 3-6. She's been knocked out 2 times, submitted 3 times. So what we see from Brittany Elkin is she's not the greatest striker. She's not the greatest on the ground. She's never got a submission victory. But if any time, honestly, if I'm Brittany Elkin, all I'm thinking is I've got more experience in this girl. Take your time, keep distance, throw kicks to the legs, and then shoot the takedown. Don't even try and make this fight entertaining because you can be 4-6 against the greatest female boxer of all time.
You'd be stupid, even if you're a journeyman or a journeywoman in this case, yeah? Bro, don't fumble the bag. You are going to have your name in spotlights. Listen, although your record will be shit, legacy is forever. And people will still remember. People won't talk about, oh, she was 4-6. People will talk about how she beat fucking Clarissa Shields in MMA. She's going to send her back to boxing again. Do you know what I mean? She's going to leave Clarissa Shields 0-1 in boxing. I mean, in MMA, excuse me.
MMA. She's gonna smash. She's gonna smash this guy.
One thing actually you sent me is that who is the boxer that wanted to fight Clarissa Shields?
The boxer, is that Logan and Jake Paul you're talking about?
Yeah. Well, boys, if we're talking about equality, I think it has to be done. The same thing, actually.
She called them out, though. She called them out.
Listen, I never mentioned this actually before. There's a big jiu-jitsu fight. Gabby Garcia. I don't know if you actually know who any of these guys are, or girls as well. Craig Jones versus Gabby Garcia, two fucking absolute powerhouses in the jiu-jitsu scene. Craig Jones, obviously, known for his fucking cheetah shorts. Gabby Garcia, known as being one of the fucking most steroided women of all time. Sean, I'll send you a picture of both these guys. Tell me if you kind of recognize her. You definitely know who she is. She used to fight in Japan, I think. But they're doing a jiu-jitsu fight soon. And it'd be
a jiu-jitsu fight?
Yeah. They're having a jiu-jitsu match. It'd be interesting.
A man and a woman?
Yeah, Craig Jones versus Gabriela Garcia.
Oh, she fuck me and she's 6'6".
I think those things might be a bit boosted. I'm not gonna lie, because this is
Okay.
This is what they actually look like next to each other. Well, I'll get you a bit. They're just trying to get it, I guess, for like, a bit of a joke there, Sean. But that's what they actually look like. They're sure. So quite similar, to be quite honest with you. Quite similar.
Okay.
Weight-wise.
Okay. Makes more sense.
Yeah, definitely, man. Definitely.
Cool. But let's jump into I think, is this the last thing of the podcast, maybe?
Second last, I think.
The greatest ever fighter, Sugar Sean O'Malley, hopped onto Twitter and he called out Piotr Jan. He said to this guy blatantly, he said, Peter, whilst you're waiting for Aljo, you want to beat me up in the meantime? And Piotr Jan, I can't remember quite what he responded with. He basically said in a very long way, no, Sean, I'm too scared to fight you. And then he said something about Cejudo, and then Cejudo got involved, and then Cejudo hit him. Honestly, with a 10-9, I don't want to say 10-8 because I can hear everything Cejudo tweets in his voice, and it's a bit king cringe. But that's what he wants to be known as, because that's why we're talking about him at the end of the day. And that's what Cejudo wants. That's what the MMA world wants. Cejudo to be talked about and become a bigger name. So fair play that we're talking about him for being cringy, because every publicity is good publicity, as they say. And yeah, it's very interesting. Sugar Sean chasing the bantamweight division down. He's not even. Is he ranked? I don't think so. I don't believe he's ranked. I'll have a look now. Sugar Sean's not even ranked. I think. Did you see Mirab Deleschvi called him out as well?
I love that guy.
And he's already booked. He's already booked.
Oh yeah, I know. I think we already mentioned that beforehand. I'm not gonna lie, but
yeah, exactly. Cool. We did. But I think Marlon Chito Vera needs to get back in there with him.
Yeah, I get you, man. I get you. But it's an interesting week nonetheless, Sean. There's been a lot more drama orientated, to be quite honest with you, than technical fights or anything like that. It's just kind of it's fun for the casual fans, I'd say. It's fun a fun week for the casuals. Do you know what I mean? Especially the fans win essentially in this week. The fans win. The fans win this weekend as well. Make sure to buy the Triller pay-per-view. Shout out to Triller. Shout out to ESPN for the
Shout
UFC
out,
fight
shout out to
night.
UFC in particular.
And guys, make sure to buy those both, and then pretty much.
Yeah,
What do you,
guys,
are you
illegal
making your
streaming is just not the way to do it.
bet of the week, Sean? What are we saying?
I was going to, but I need 1 second because I'm very interested. I want to look something up very quickly. Hold on 1 second.
Hold on, brother. I am
Oh, okay,
talking.
okay, okay. I was gonna say that Korean Zombie should fight Aaron Arnold. So not Aaron, Alan Arnold. But he's actually booked with 50K Dan Ige, so uh,
Super
never
scuffed, yeah.
mind. But my bet of the week, what are we gonna go with? Ladies and gentlemen, it's a hard one for me to pick, but
No, it's not. It's really not, to be quite honest.
I know for a fact, everyone is what you guys want to hear. You don't want to hear me talk about Alexander Romanov, because that's who I think is a great fight to be betting on. I think Romanov's gonna do it in a nice fashion. Put Romanov back up on the screen.
Oh,
Alexander
fuck's
Romanov,
sake.
the GOAT, the GOAT, the GOAT, the GOAT. I think Alexander Romanov gonna do it by maybe a, I want to say, I'm gonna say a second round submission or knockout. I'm not quite sure. I'm not making the bet. That's not the bet of the week. The bet of the week is Ben
Oh, okay.
Askren.
Thank God. I was
Ben
about to say, man.
Askren.
I was about to
Ben
say, man.
Askren to get the KO in. Not KO. It's gonna be stopped. The referee's gonna come in and stop it in the fifth round.
Okay, but we're saying to be broad. We're saying bet your money on Ben Askren.
TKO
Put
stoppage.
€5 on Ben Askren here, and the return I believe is €13.50. So it's a nice more than double fight. Of course, guys, gamble responsibly, please. Don't we are not accountable, responsible for anything lost or anything that happens to you guys, okay, or to anyone else. We're not
Not our
responsible.
problem if you
But
lose your money.
yeah, essentially. But we're just saying what we're gonna do, pretty much. Yeah, we're just gonna say to cover
Ben
our
Askren
asses.
by fifth round stoppage. Not KO. He will not be on the canvas. He will not be a meme. Well, he might be a meme because he's gonna cry when he loses. But Ben
Ben
Askren by
Askren
fifth round
is gonna
stoppage.
not gonna. Ben Askren is gonna cry of laughter because this was gonna be the easiest. This is gonna be the easiest fight of his life. But boys,
Essentially.
this isn't the ending. As next up, we have the long-awaited interview with smiling Sam Alvey, my guy, one of our favorite fighters we have watched for a while now. Uh,
But
definitely
guys,
someone,
but guys,
definitely someone we
but
watched
guys,
for a
I'm
while.
gonna jump. I'm gonna jump across Milan. Do a little
Go for
knee
it.
slide across him. I want to do. I want to say because I didn't say in the outro of the interview. Make sure you guys jump down below in the comment section if you are listening this long.
Goat
Also,
squad,
another
goat squad.
Goat Squad. Another thing to do, guys. And yeah, just if you enjoyed the video, drop a like, whatever you guys want to do, all those good things, and just yeah, hope you guys have a good one. Sam Alvey up next, and yeah, that's been it from me and Milan by ourselves. So we'll
Yes,
see you in
sir.
2 seconds, guys.
We'll see you
See you
guys.
soon.
Enjoy, enjoy.
What's up, guys? We have a special little interview for you now. We're here with Smiling Sam Alvey, who just fought on the last UFC card against Julian Marquez. Firstly, Sam, how's it going? How's
Doing all right, guys. How are you?
We're good. We're
well,
good.
not too bad. Slightly behind schedule, but we move along, and we're happy enough to go. Um, so we'll just start off quickly, Sam. How is it now that you're not dieting anymore to get to 185?
Uh, it's I always take 1 week from my fight after my fight to eat whatever I want. I eat just a bunch of junk food,
What's the
and I
go-to?
eat it until I don't want to eat it anymore. And as soon as come Saturday or Sunday of this week, I'm gonna be done. I'm gonna get back on my diet. I'm gonna start keeping myself at 85.
All right.
That's
What's
good.
the go-to, Sam? What's the go-to junk food?
I love cereal, any cereal really. Just give me boxes of cereal.
What would you say
Gee,
is your favorite cereal though?
Probably Captain Crunch with the Crunch Berries.
Captain Crunch.
Uh,
We've
we
never
don't
tried
have
it
that one
here.
in
We don't
Ireland.
have it.
We don't have that one though.
oh, it's pretty bomb. It's
Yeah,
fire, guys.
we're gonna
Yeah.
have to try it. We're gonna have to try it. Well, Sam, how was your cut to 185 for this fight?
It was hard. I mean, there's no line, but I've done it before. I haven't done it in a couple of years, but it was hard. My final cut was about 8 pounds.
Mm,
It took 3 baths, 3 sitting under the blankets. It was not fun, but I did it, and
yeah.
I will be, if not happy to do it again, I will be willing to do it again.
And how would you compare it to like maybe one of your worst cuts? Is it up there, or is it just another cut for you?
Uh, Nah, it would have been harder than a lot of my cuts to 85. Because
Mm,
when I went up to 205, I just got to be a bigger dude.
mm.
So it wasn't an easy cut, but I made it. And I was pretty comfortable afterwards.
Okay, that's cool. And do you think that maybe this drop had anything to do with your last fight's loss?
No, I don't
No.
think the cut had anything to do with it. I think
Okay.
he just punched me in the face, and
Mm,
that did most of it.
okay.
Well, speaking about that, the Julian Marquez fight, what do you think went wrong for yourself then? Because at the end of the first, myself and Milan were watching it and we were going crazy because we thought you were about to get the finish.
Yeah,
Uh,
I did too. I was reading it. You know what it was is I went back to the classic Sam, and I hate when I do it where I'm just a counter striker. I'm not going to push forwards. I'm just going to wait for him. And he hit me early round one. It was nothing that rattled me. It just hit me, and I wasn't expecting it to hit me. And it
yeah,
just snapped something in my brain. He said, "Okay, we can't let that happen again. We're just going to counter. We're going to counter strike." And
Mm,
between rounds, my coaches, and my wife, and everyone said, "Listen, we're going to push forward, put him on his back foot. He's doing a terrible job walking, fighting backwards. Get him going backwards." I said,
mm,
"Okay." And then the bell rang, and I walked to the cage with my back against there, and I did nothing they told me to. And it was really unfortunate. I was better than that. It's a fight I could have, should have. Man, I'm so upset. I've played it through my head 1,000 times yet. I haven't watched it yet, but I have
yeah,
watched the final little clip. In that final little clip where we were swinging each other, what a cool combo! It was. I went under one, then I swung counter, and he went under. Then he came up, and he finally got the final strike right on the right side of me, where he wobbled me hard. I ended up on a shot where it all went downhill after that, but. It was a cool little striking combo there at the end.
mm. I'd
yeah. It
say
was
it
a
was
nice
an
little
electric
one,
fight,
actually. I
yeah.
thought. Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. Obviously, you got fight the night for it. Do you think getting fight the night there could be something that would keep you up in the UFC? Because I know you were saying before the fight, you thought you were fighting for your career here in the
Yeah,
UFC.
from your lips to God's ears or to Dana's ears. I certainly hope so. I hope I get one more. But I, if the UFC decides to cut me, I couldn't hold it against them. I have not been performing like they know I can. They've given me opportunities. They've given me every opportunity to prove I'm one of the best in the world, and I keep coming up just a little short. Despite how I think most of those coming up shorts were the referee or the judge's call as opposed to mine. But I can only. I mean, at the end of the day, it's my call for not hitting him first.
Yeah.
Mm.
So Julian Marquez again. So you were meant to be fighting Zach Cummings before that. Do you think was the switching opponent something to do with it? Because obviously there's not exactly the same kind of fighter.
Yeah,
Was he
no,
preparing
I mean,
back or?
it was definitely a big change. Switching him on, it really was a big difference in an opponent. Uh, from Zach Cummings, who is a much slower fighter than I am, with decent jiu-jitsu and okay shot, he's got one punch as power. Julian Marquez, who's a much more explosive, much faster fighter. So it was really, once I got the new opponent, it was kind of, I came to a dead halt. Had to change plans, had to change everything I had been training for. So that was definitely unfortunate that the opponent was so dissimilar to one another. But I still, I felt I was better than both of them, and I just didn't prove it.
Yeah. So have you actually heard from the UFC at all about?
No, I have not heard anything yet, and I'm guessing no news is good news. I don't know. I don't know what to expect. I know I'm saying my prayers every night. I'm hoping to give me one more chance to prove myself. I still have fights on my contract, which is good for
How many
me.
fights
Except
do you have left?
I have 3 fights on my contract left. But like every
they have
contract,
to buy you out from that contract.
no, they can just cancel me whenever they want.
Okay.
Oh, really?
No, yeah, and that's I'm pretty sure that's the same as everybody in the UFC. They sign a contract, and it's definitely in the UFC's favor, where they can cancel me whenever they want. But it is nice to say I've got 3 fights left. So that's, hopefully I get that. I guess like I keep saying, I hope I get that one more opportunity, and I'll put up with all the shit talk the internet's going to throw at me if I do get one more.
Yeah, I think the fight of the night definitely secures you maybe another fight in the future. But
Sure hope so.
Yeah, talking about the future. This is well into the future. Do you? Well, you're 34 right now. Do you have any ideal age that you think you might hang up the gloves in the sport of MMA?
45. 45 is
45.
when I think I'd like.
Jeez.
Yeah,
Easy.
that's the same year Dan Henderson retired.
Oh,
And,
wow.
if I could mimic his career as much as I could, I would love to.
Are there any organizations that you have your eye on, or is it just you want to stay with the UFC as long as possible?
The UFC has been so good to me. I want to give back to them. They have helped build me into a household name. They've helped build me into the fighter that I am today, and I'm known around the world because of them. I would love to spend the rest of my career, bringing more eyes to their organization. So they would be my dream is to retire with them in 10 years from now. But it's kind of up in the air right now.
Yeah. And what do you think is next from now on?
Shoot, if I could fight Zach Cummings next, like I was supposed to this time, that would be fantastic. That would be great. That would be quite the gift.
Were you actually training for Zach Cummings at the beginning of your camp, or did you have to make some adjustments?
I was training from Zach Cummings as soon as they mentioned him to me. I was everything I did was anticipating a fight with Mr. Cummings. And then when he got injured or got whatever, I'm not sure what happened to him. Whatever happened to him, then Marquez stepped up and it was on.
Yeah, and were the adjustments hard to get to, or were they easier, I guess?
It was more difficult. Marquez he's about as dissimilar a fighter from Cummings as you could get. Like I said, Cummings is a slower pace, more methodical fighter. Where Marquez he's going to bite down on his mouth guard and he's going to swing as hard as he can at you, as fast as he can at you. So it was a completely different fight. It was a timing issue. I had to go from being the faster, more aggressive fighter to being the counter striker with Marquez, and I apparently didn't train enough.
And after fighting, you mentioned you have 11 more years. Do you have any plans what you want to do after fighting?
Well, President of the United States is on my short list, but we'll see what happens. I think this country could use a smiling Sam to help guide us in the right direction. But other than that, I'm a coach at heart. I have always coached my entire adult life, my entire fighting career. I've been a head coach of the gym, and I do a lot of it. I'm looking forward to getting back at it and doing everything I can to continue coaching.
Yeah, maybe a fight with Dana White would be an interesting matchup.
Oh, have you seen his last? That's why I don't want any part of that.
Yeah.
So speaking of fights, one of the fights that myself and Milan first watched of yours was the not the Duho Choi. Sorry, what was his name?
Da Un Young.
Da Un Young. Sorry.
Yeah.
We watched that fight, and we're watching it. We're watching it just in my house. We had a good evening with it, and we thought we this is where we first we really fell in love with Sam Alvey. We thought we were just thinking if this is not going his way and it was a draw.
Uh,
Did you see that going your way, or how did you see that fight?
I have watched that fight, I don't know, 30 times. And every time I've watched that fight, I've won that fight. And there wasn't even close. I won that fight. If my career were to end today, that would be the biggest injustice my career has ever had. Is that I got a draw in that fight. And Don Young is a stud. We met up, we chatted a bunch over the week this last weekend too. He was fighting on the same card. He's a stud. It was a great fight for him. There was a great round through it. It was just it was as close to the perfect fight as I've ever fought outside of finishing someone in the first 10 seconds.
So with that fight, would that be something you want to get back? Like if there was a fight that you could have tomorrow, would that be the fight you'd want to run back the most?
No, I don't like rematches. I never had. My body's only going to hold out for so many fights. I don't want to waste my energy, waste my injuries on fighting the same guy over and over again. So as much as I respect him, as much as the fight was a wonderful fight, I wouldn't want the rematch.
Mm.
So I'll send a dream fight there. So let's put him out of the picture. Any fighter, past or present, who would you want?
I always wanted to fight Michael Bisping. I just think it'd be a fun fight. It's such a difference in skills or in ability. He is a high volume, high intensity kind of fighter, and I am way slower, way more methodical. And I think it would just be a real fun fight to try and implement my game plan. I'd want 5 rounds against him, not 3 though.
5 rounds on it as well. Well, with that Michael Bisping fight, is there any ideal location? Would you want to do that in his backyard?
Just anywhere but Manchester. He doesn't lose in Manchester.
Yeah. Those would be some good press conferences, I will say.
I would have a blast with it.
Mm.
So, what do you think of speaking of Michael Bisping, the former middleweight champ, what do you think of, the division as it is now? So obviously we have Gastelum and Whitaker fighting, Vittori and Holland just fought there. Like, who do you think is kind of next for Izzy in that picture?
It's good. Vittori belongs in the picture. I know he lost a fairly close fight to him before, but it was a close fight. It was, and I would love to see the fight again. I'm a fan of Vittori. However, I do think Sean Strickland is going to destroy this division as he starts getting his feet back under him. He's got a fight against Jotko here in the next 3 weeks, I think, May 1st or May 10th. And I think he's going to win that one pretty dominantly, and I think he's just going to go on a tear.
Mm.
But so I was going to ask you about someone else in the middleweight division, Darren Till. There was a little bit of back and forth there, which I came across. If you could get that Darren Till fight, it's a 5-rounder. Like, how would you prepare for someone like Darren Till? He's a southpaw. How would a fight like that go for you, do you think? Do you think you could get the W over?
I think I would be Darren Till, but I've got nothing to back that up right now. I'm coming off too many losses in a row to legitimately say I would crush him. But I like the matchup. I think it's another tough fight for me because he's a higher volume fighter than I am. And unlike Bisping, he's more willing to shoot on a guy, so I'd have to worry about that as well. But I think my striking is not as clean as his. I do think I hit far harder than he does. And I think I would, especially in 5 rounds, in the later rounds, I think I'd start really catching him. He would slow down ever so slightly, and I wouldn't.
Do you see yourself as a 5-round fighter in that, like, you can go 5 rounds comfortably?
Yeah, I fought a lot of 5-round fights before the UFC. I was the MFC champion, so it's 5-round. And I'm a guy who, my conditioning has always been the centerpiece of my my fighting style. I don't get tired in fights. I never lose power come round 5. I actually had the latest stoppage in MMA history prior to Yair Rodriguez you guys with that spinning elbow
Mm.
against. Before that happened, I had the latest stoppage in MMA history. So there were 4 seconds left in a 25-minute fight, and I knocked him out.
I can't remember who you were
And
fighting. I think we did watch that one actually.
Yeah.
I keep forgetting. Jason South, I think, was his name. It was either Jason South or it was the fight right after him. But anyway, I am good for 5 rounds. I would love to get back to 5-round fights. The training camps for 5 rounds kind of suck, but the actual fights are right up my alley.
Mm. So as we saw in the last card, it was kind of a special day for the UFC because of the new Venom deal that was put in place from that day. Now, I was just wondering, actually, I saw in your story, you got a bunch of Venom goodies and all, hoodies, bags, shorts even. So are you happy with the new Venom deal that came out? And do you think that the pay is fair for the fighters?
Yeah, I thought the Reebok pay was fair for fighters as well. Venom is paying about $1,000 more, so it's even more fair. It's even better. But I thought Reebok was plenty fair. And the Venom stuff, it's nice. It's a completely different feel because Venom, I believe, is a European company for the most part, so everything's tighter. The Europeans, y'all like your clothes so tight, and Venom is definitely that. Like it's tight around the wrists, it's tight around the ankles. Everything's a lot tighter, which is different. Reebok was very flowy, very loose, very more comfortable in that regard. But this Venom stuff, it is heavy duty, nice stuff. It is, it's it's kind of stuff I could train in. I could wear while working out, and it would hold up to the everyday life of a fighter.
Yeah, would you say you prefer it more over the Reebok, or do you kind of just like both of them the same?
Let's see. I think I prefer the sweatsuit that you wear to the ring more from Reebok because again, it was flowier. My gloves fit in and out of it a lot easier. However, the shorts and the shirt and stuff, I prefer for Venom more. It's just more form fitting. It's more heavy duty. I don't feel like I'm gonna break it.
Okay. And well, speaking of pay, John Jones currently had a little situation saying that he is not going to fight unless he gets a $10 million paycheck, I think. I was just wondering, what were your thoughts on that?
I don't think the fight's worth that. It's a cool fight, but I think he's trying to. I think he's throwing a crazy number out there so he can get half of it. I think maybe it'll work for him. Power to him if it does. But I honestly don't think there's that much interest in. There is interest. I just don't think there's $10 million extra dollars worth of interest in watching John Jones get knocked out by Nogueira.
Oh, really?
Conor,
or Nogano.
Yeah.
But yeah, Sean, you were saying something there.
So see, Conor only gets, I think it was about $5 million or something, and he wants double that, And even though Conor's obviously, that was the Dustin Poirier fight, he got roughly about $5 million for at a base pay. Saying he wants double that is like his pay-per-views don't speak for it. It's just what I see. I don't think the Ngannou pay-per-view would speak for it either.
Yeah, I don't either. I think everybody tunes in when Ngannou fights because everyone loves seeing Ngannou. He's got such a power to him. And I don't think him versus Jones gets anyone, doesn't get that many more people to tune in. I know Jones is the superstar of the sport and this and that, but I'm really way more excited when Ngannou fights than I am when Jones fights.
I would agree.
Yeah, same with me, to be honest. But also, this weekend is an interesting matchup, to be honest with you. Jake Paul versus Ben Askren in a professional boxing fight. Who do you have and why?
I'm with Askren. I'm hoping Askren wins this. I am not going to put any money on Askren winning this stuff. I've sparred with Logan Paul before, and I watched Jake Paul spar. And to their credit, they're putting in real camps, or at least they were. It was like 3 years ago. They were working hard. They had a real trainer. They had real workouts. They were doing everything a fighter is supposed to be doing. Where Ben Askren, he's got 24 professional fights or 23 professional fights, and I don't think I've ever seen him throw a punch. Uh, so I don't know. What I am pretty confident of is the fight's 8 rounds or 10 rounds. You guys know?
I think it's 8.
8 rounds.
I'm pretty sure it's 8. Yeah.
I I don't think Jake has the power to knock Askren out in rounds 1 or 2. And I think if he doesn't knock him out in rounds 1 or 2, I think he's going to get tired. He's never had a fight where I think every fight he's had it ends in 2 rounds. I think he will gas. The adrenaline will hit. His arms will get tired. He's going to come out like a bat out of hell, just swinging everything he's got. And assuming Askren can withstand it, and I think he can. I think Jake gets tired out, and Askren pulls a decision, just winning more of the rounds.
I'd kind of have to agree with that. But you just mentioned you sparred with Logan Paul. How did that go?
It was great. I got brought in by his boxing coach, and I kind of talked out in Vegas for something. And it was actually funny. His boxing coach, we were standing in line to watch MMA awards or something, and he said, "Hey, are you Sam Alvey?" He said, "Yeah, that's me." He said, "Oh, do you know who the Paul brothers are?" He said, "No, I don't. Who are those guys?" And he had to explain who Logan Paul is. And said, "Oh, it's a YouTube something." I said, "Oh, okay." Then I kind of looked into them and said, "Man, they are big YouTube stars. I mean, there are tens of millions of people on their channels, and that's pretty impressive." And he said, "Well, hey, you're about the right size. We'd love to have you come spar with them a little bit. It's hard finding guys." So, yeah, count me in. So I drove out there, and it was a good afternoon. I mean, their house is incredible. Their house is it's a mansion. It's like Tony Stark levels of big and awesome. He had an Olympic-sized boxing ring in his living room. So we went there and we sparred all day, and it was a good time. I got brought in to work with him, not to beat him. So I worked with him just fine, and he was a very athletic individual. Both the guys were.
And when was this actually?
3 years ago, I want to say. I think it was before his first ESP fight, EPS, the first. It was before his first boxing fight.
Okay.
EPI, whatever the guy's name is.
KSI is what you're thinking of there. KSI.
ESI, that's the one.
So, so you're speaking about the whole. So you think? Sorry, my words have gone from me there. Logan Paul. I was just thinking there. He's fighting Floyd Mayweather next. Apparently, as we've been seeing in the media. How do you see that going? Because I know a lot of people have been saying that Logan would get put away, or which wouldn't be fun to watch. But do you see an appeal in it?
No, I don't see any appeal to this. I think Floyd is going to have his way with Logan. And Logan is going to be way bigger. I mean, probably 30 or 40 pounds bigger. But I don't think he stands a chance. Well, Floyd is another, I mean, he's 50-0, 51-0 for a reason. He's hard to hit, and the little guys are hard to hit. And that's coming from me, a guy who knows how to hit people. Logan is, I mean, he's 0-1-1 as a professional or amateur. I don't think he stands a chance against Floyd.
Okay, so we recently actually on our podcast had an episode on the GOATs of MMA where we kind of just made a list of each person in a weight category and then the overall GOAT. So we were just wondering, who is Sam Alvey's MMA GOAT?
It's unarguable who it is, and that's GSP. Honestly, I don't think there's a close second. He was in and out of the ring. He's just a class act. He's never been caught cheating, which is a priority as to who is a GOAT. Is if you've ever been popped for PEDs, you're not a GOAT ever. John Jones, sorry, but you're a dirty cheater. Multiple time dirty cheater. GSP he retired for 5 years. Then he went up a weight class, took the middleweight belt, and then said, "Okay, I've done everything I want to do," and then retired again. He's a specimen. He is better than anyone ever has been.
How would you rank Khabib then? Because a lot of people have him as the GOAT as well.
He hasn't defended his belt enough to be a GOAT. I put Khabib at number 3, actually. I put Mighty Mouse ahead of him. I do.
Mighty
I
Mouse.
put Mighty Mouse at, yeah. Even with the loss, I kind of ended his, even with his recent loss, I still got Mighty Mouse. He's just, I mean, it was a good division that he was just leagues better than. He was better than all of them.
Yeah.
He just made them look bad. Then again, never cheated. His fights were entertaining. He never got the love he deserved. Khabib, no arguing, he is one of the greatest it's ever been. But other than the domination factor, his fights are kind of boring.
Yeah. And do you think DJ has a good future ahead of him in one as well after that loss?
Yeah. He's just a stud. I mean, he's been good everywhere. He has done everything there is to do. He will go on and be, if not the best in the world, one of the best in the world for the longest time until he doesn't want to anymore.
Okay.
Just like lastly, then to finish up on Sam, something we saw a post of yours just before the fight, which I thought was quite dangerous to put out with Julian Marquez watching. Your wife catching you with a dirty jab, and you talking about her going to BKFC. What do we think of your wife versus Paige Van Zandt? What are you saying?
That's what I want. That's the fight I want to make. I think the fight sells itself. My wife is America's Next Top Model. Paige is runner-up for Dancing with the Stars. And they'd be the same weight class, 125. And I think it'd be a good rebound fight for Paige, or at least on paper, it would be a good rebound fight for Paige.
Has your wife actually, does she do much striking?
Oh, yeah. My wife's a badass. She just doesn't fight or hasn't fought. She hits hard. She does everything right. She's got quick hands too. The smaller you are, the faster you get. My wife, I'm 220. She's 100 and whatever she is. See, I was smart. You can't say it. She's quick. She hits hard. I have no idea about her chin because I'm not going to be the guy that hits her hard first. But
has she tested jiu-jitsu, Sam?
Oh God, she has. I finally made her promise to take her rings off.
All right, Sam. Well, we're actually going to finish up there now. So I just want to thank you for coming on. You'd be the first guest on the podcast ever. So I just want to thank you very much for coming along. Very best of luck. Hopefully, we get to see that Zach Cummings fight. The fight we were.
Yeah. Hey. So let's make it happen. Hey, come on, UFC. You hear it now.
Exactly, and I know also you don't like rematches, but I'd love to see you run it back with Dallin Jung.
It was a good fight. It was a fight I felt I won. But yeah, if ever it happens, I've never once said no to a fight. So maybe it will.
All right, perfect. So thank you everybody out there for watching, and thank you again to Sam Alvey. Thank you very much for watching, and that is us done, guys. Cheers.
Thanks, guys.